How long can you go, buddy? How long can you be there with Vegas?
Oh, I think I got some gas left in the tank. I mean, I love what I do, and I just love Call of Duty. I love competing in Call of Duty. I think as long as people give me a shot and, you know, I still have a spot here in the CDL, I think I'll keep taking it.
Let's do it, Clay. Inhale belief, exhale doubt, boys. Let's do this.
One shot and one stub.
He's by himself. Nice.
Kitchen.
I'm starting C1 for you. Inhale belief, exhale doubt, boys.
The Legion are starting to believe that this is possible. Guarantee this shit. Hold your breath. Vegas Legion. Can they do it? The thieves are moving, but they are moving into the kill feed. And Legion have just made the greatest comeback in halfway. You will ever see.
Clayster is a Call of Duty pro player who has been competing at the highest level for over a decade. During this offseason, he announced that this could potentially be his last year competing in the league.
I haven't really talked about it much, but most likely this is gonna be it.
He's the oldest player in the CDL right now, but has definitely cemented his legacy throughout the years. He's had a historic career, including 3 championship rings. He's faced a lot of setbacks in his career, but has also had some of the best moments competing at the highest level. And he said he's feeling sharper than ever going into this new year. So let's look at the inspiring story of Clayster's Call of Duty career. When Clayster first got his hands on Call of Duty, it was around Call of Duty 4. Like a lot of other pro players that started back in the day, Clayster started playing game battles, which hosted online tournaments and matches where you could play competitive COD. Clayster was all in. He was grinding in these online matches and started to form and build better relationships with fellow S&D stars and pro players, building his name in the online scene. He started getting onto the pro scene in the early stages, but he wouldn't find too much success as he started. He would find a long-term roster spot for the first time on Art of Execution, where Clayster would team with another Call of Duty legend, Aches. The team would not find much success during Modern Warfare 2, but Clayster got back in the lab and continued working on his game, ready for the next opportunity until he got a spot in 2013 on Unite. This was Clayster's first opportunity to prove that he belonged in the pro scene. He played for Unite during Black Ops 2 with Huddle, Slacked, and Spacely, and ended up securing a second place finish at MLG Dallas. And he would go on to say, "I went to MLG Dallas and just played out of my mind. It's one of the best tournaments I think I've ever had in my entire life," and ended up finishing second. And little did he know more success was right around the corner. From MLG Dallas in 2013, Clayster started getting recognized for his performance, and shortly after he was picked up by a stacked Complexity roster alongside Aches, TP, and Crim6. And following his team change, Complexity became one of the top teams in Call of Duty and started dominating the competition. They even placed 4th at Call of Duty Champs 2013, and Clayster would win his biggest prize yet from this placement, winning $100,000. Despite struggling in the beginning of his career, he continued to persevere and put himself in a good position on a Call of Duty roster. After having this incredible tournament run with Complexity, Clayster and his team would have a falling out, which resulted in Clayster being dropped. The article said, given that they had won 7 of the previous 8 events, Clay was stunned, claiming that the team dropped him because he didn't hang out with his teammates at events. It didn't make too much of a difference, as Complexity won the 2014 World Championship anyways. Following this unexpected turn of events though, Clayster did not let this get him down, and he was looking for a team to call home, and that's when Optic Gaming called him to give him a chance for their roster. Now anybody that joins Optic Gaming, I mean, your stock and your viewership is gonna skyrocket because this is the biggest team in esports, and that's exactly what happened to Clayster. Alongside Embos, Nadeshot, and Scump, he was one of the faces of Call of Duty. Going into Champs, they were the favorites to win, but they ended up placing 3rd and still got a really solid paycheck, but his season wasn't over just yet. He ended up making history whenever the first Call of Duty X Games was hosted during COD Ghosts. This was showing that Call of Duty esports was moving more into the mainstream, and to have an X Games for it is actually really cool. They ended up doing 2 of these, and I wish they could have done more because it's just a really cool concept to me. But anyways, during this first X Games, Clayster won a gold medal with Nadeshot, Scump, and Proofy. And Clayster's Ghost season ended on a high note, but the best was yet to come. After a solid stint on Optic Gaming, Clayster was dropped from Optic and sought some more opportunities going forward. I mean, with Call of Duty changing every year, team dynamics can change pretty quick, and as you can see, Clayster bounced around from a lot of different teams and found success on most of them. This led him to Envy and then to Denial Esports, leading into Advanced Warfare Champs. Clayster had been so close to winning champs in the past, and as he was gearing up in Advanced Warfare, Denial was looking stronger and stronger with every single tournament, but they kept falling short to Optic, and going into champs, Clayster was not going to let that stop him from getting to his first ring. During bracket play, Denial played Optic Gaming and ended up beating them on the biggest stage despite not even winning a map against them in the past 4 tournaments leading up to champs. But Clayster and Denial Esports prevailed and made their way to the grand finals, where they would get a convincing win, marking Clayster's first ever ring in Call of Duty Esports, alongside Attach, Crowder, and JCap. Following Clayster's ring, Call of Duty World League began, and Clayster was on the lookout for a new team once again. After coming off of a really hot season, FaZe picked up Clayster in hopes of bringing them more success, but unfortunately, as the CWL got underway, FaZe really struggled throughout the 2 years he was with them. Despite having little success in their tournament runs, the FaZe team would struggle through Black Ops 3 and through Infinite Warfare, and it got to a point where Clayster actually mutually agreed to leave the team going into World War II, and this resulted in him getting traded to EU United. But honestly, this was one of the best things that could have happened to his career. Although when he initially got traded to EU United, the team wasn't that solid, but whenever Call of Duty transitioned to 5v5, Clayster's team was stacked. Like, he had a BZ, Simp, Arcides, and Pristini. After this roster change, EU United became one of the strongest teams going into COD Champs 2019, and they rode that momentum throughout the entire tournament, dominating match after match, Clayster clutching up whenever it mattered, and after they made a hard-fought tournament run, they made it to CWL Champs Grand Finals, where Clayster would compete for his second ring. They ended up winning the entire tournament, and Clayster would have his second ring within just a few years, but things in COD Esports were about to change once again. After having some issues with team chemistry shortly after champs, Clayster left EU United and was now looking for a new roster spot in the Call of Duty League, which took over in 2020. This is when he found a spot on the Dallas Empire. This all happened in 2020, like I said, and this is when COVID hit and everybody was stuck inside. So all the players were forced to play online, and this actually worked to Clayster and the Dallas Empire's benefit because they were extremely good online. So although the season was a little weird and there was a lot of changes going on, and Dallas Empire, which included Shotzi, Hook, Illy, and Crim6, got ready to play online COD Champs for the first time. And guess what? Clay won again. He won back-to-back and made this his third ring in just about a decade of competing, which is almost unheard of. Clayster cemented his legacy in the Call of Duty community and continues his incredible run, even being one of the oldest players in the league. When Call of Duty went back to 4v4 and Cold War, Clayster continued in the COD League and ended up finding a spot on the NYSL roster. The team a little while to find their footing, but in Cold War, Hydra was picked up, and then Crib6 and Neptune going into Vanguard. And this team was really solid on paper, but unfortunately, they didn't find much success with their roster, and this led to Clayster encountering another major setback in his career. NYSL ended up moving Clayster to the bench after the team wasn't performing too well, and despite being in the league for over 10 years and winning 3 rings, Clayster found himself in Challengers, which is like the NBA G League. If you need a reference, that's like the best way I can explain it, at least. After a short time in the Challengers League, Clayster was looking for a new team to go to in the 2022-2023 Modern Warfare 2 season, and that's when Las Vegas Legion hit him up and formed a team around Clayster with Temp, TJ Halley, and eventually Standy. Although this team was solid, had glimmers of success, they were one of the bottom tier teams throughout the entire MW2 season, but they were one of the fan favorites just because everyone was rooting for Clayster. They ultimately failed to place well throughout MW2, and as the season came to a close with some very poor placings, Clayster's future was uncertain going into Modern Warfare 3, and that leads us to today. During the offseason, in Modern Warfare 3, Clayster was looking through team offers. Apparently, roster mania was pretty rough this year. In a recent stream during the offseason, Clayster said, "This might be my last run." I haven't really talked about it much because I don't like making certainties in life, but most likely this is going to be it. But it just goes to show you that Clayster is truly one of the last from his generation of the first adopters of competitive Call of Duty, but he's still continuing to go and compete against some of the best of the best. He was able to get on the squad this year on the Carolina Royal Ravens alongside some really solid Challengers players who are getting their shot in the league this year. Clayster's teaming with GodRx, Gwyn, and Real, and he's gearing up for what could possibly be his final season. Clayster has had an incredible career, one that is truly one of a kind, and he has cemented his legacy in Call of Duty esports. Clayster's story has many setbacks, but also some great moments, but through it all, he has persevered and made a significant impact on this community. This upcoming season is going to be really interesting to watch. I'm excited to see how things play out for Clayster. And with that said, the Call of Duty League season begins on Friday, December 8th, and we'll get to see how Clayster's potential final year is about to unfold. So with that said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that you guys have a great rest of the week, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, peace.